Israel is on the verge of a ground offensive in Gaza's Rafah neighborhood towards the south. But the Biden administration, which has supported Israel throughout the war with Hamas, has expressed concern about such an operation. That's because more than 1 million civilians are living and taking refuge in Rafah. Former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is visiting Israel to see the situation on the ground, and WION's correspondent Jody Cohen was invited to join him. Take a look at this exclusive report right here on WION.
It's been more than 4 months since Hamas's 7th of October massacre in Israel. I visited the evacuated Kfar Aza with Secretary Pompeo and Israeli MP Ambassador Danny Danon. It was here that Hamas terrorists massacred more than 60 residents, took 19 hostages and left the village in ruins. Next, we saw Re'im, the site of the Peace Festival, where Hamas killed over 360 young people and took more than 40 hostages. It's here that numerous eyewitnesses have talked about mass rape being carried out. At Ofakim, where Hamas killed 50 civilians, we heard a security briefing, including details of Monday's rescue by Israel Defense Forces of 2 hostages in Rafah. Hamas says the strike killed 100, while the IDF says they came under fire and killed many terrorists in response. The IDF says it has defeated 75% of Hamas battalions, that it needs to defeat the last of the battalions in Rafah and secure the release of the 134 remaining hostages. Difficulty is that Hamas is said to be hiding amongst the civilian population. I spoke with Secretary Pompeo to ask his views about the planned Rafah operation.
Israel's response to what took place on October 7th is perfectly appropriate and, more importantly, necessary. The Israeli government should not permit that threat to remain upon them either. And so however the political solution is for governance in Gaza needs to have as the central thesis Israeli security.
President Biden has called Israel's response to Hamas over the top. Prime Minister Netanyahu responded that taking into account population sizes, the 7th of October was the equivalent of 29 9/11s. And visiting the sites, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo suggested that the United States would have reacted in the same way as Israel. Now, according to a report, Israel has drawn up a plan to evacuate civilians in Rafah, which it has presented to Egypt. And Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that those who call for Israel not to enter Rafah are supporting Hamas staying in power. Egypt has reportedly told Hamas that they have 2 weeks to reach a deal before the ground offensive would begin. This is Jody Cohen for WION World as One.